Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Donna, your host, and I'm glad you've joined us today. We talk a lot about health and wellness on this show, but if you're new to this, perhaps you don't know that you have lots and lots of helpers. You have 100 trillion helpers placed inside of you called microbes. And so few people understand this and have access to the power that this provides that they mostly just ignore it because they don't know it's there. They don't know that these 100 trillion microbes are here to help you. And when I discovered that, it changed everything for me, guys. It was a dramatic change in my life, and I was at a pretty low point in my life. And I was praying for help. My family was struggling. I was struggling. And it came in the most surprising way. It came in the form of microbes that sat upon my counter in jars where I grew my own probiotics. And it changed me from the inside out. And it's an exciting field of research now where people are really starting to discover the power that microbes have because they're the most dominant organism on this planet. And you're more microbes than you are cells in your body by 10 times the amount. So I think we should pay attention to it. And when I paid attention to it, it changed everything for me. And today, I want to talk to you about that. But before we get into that, I want to tell you a story. For many, many years, this was way before I ever found cultured foods. Every year we would travel to my mom's house for Christmas, which was in Leesburg, Virginia. And at that time we lived in Kansas City, and it was about a 20-hour car ride. And we would drive all night, often drive at night so the kids would sleep in the back. And we arrived at my mom's. We were always exhausted. And my sister was a great baker. And in anticipation of us arriving, she would make buckets. And I mean huge cans of sugar cookies. And when I say this, I'm talking about, do you know those big popcorn cans that have the 3 different kinds of popcorn in them, the caramel and the butter and the cinnamon? Well, I'm talking about those kinds of things. She would fill those things with cookies, and she would make a bunch of them. And it was a traditional thing because it was my grandma's sugar cookie recipe, and my grandma was really something. She lived up in an island in Nova Scotia, and she would make these big cookies, and us kids there wasn't a lot to eat on the island as far as, most of it was fish because we lived on an island that was surrounded by water, and we mostly ate fish all the time, but she would make the grandkids, cookies, and so it kind of became famous. So my sister would always make these cookies to remind us of our childhood. And we would eat them the whole time we were there. And inevitably, somebody in the house would get sick. And then it would start to spread through the kids, the grandkids, the adults. One by one, we'd all start getting sick. And it happened every single year. And so much so that we would always say that we got sick at Christmas every year. It was like the big joke in the family. Everybody gets sick at Christmas. And we just thought it was because we were all in close proximity to each other and spread germs. But years later, I found out that wasn't the case. Partially it was. But there was more to the story than just that. These cookies that we ate were so addicted that we couldn't stop eating them, for one thing. And my husband told me that one night he was so tired and sleepy, and he was full, but he was thinking about those cookies, and he dragged himself to the kitchen to get another cookie. And the cookies had so many sprinkles on them that he ate it over the trash can so that it wouldn't get on the carpet. And it was like this every year. It was crazy. So fast forward many years later, and I now know why we all got sick every year at Christmas. And as humans, we all naturally crave a sweet taste. And it's an essential part of balancing the other tastes found in nature, like salty, bitter, and sour. We crave it. It's natural to our bodies. We want that sweet taste. But it felt like at Christmas time, we were just crazy sugar addicts, which we really weren't normally. And it's what kind of happens to you when you start to eat a lot of sugar. You have a dramatic shift in your bacteria, and those little microbes that eat the sugar will grow and multiply, and they will make you crave it. in a stronger way than you had if you hadn't had it, because you're making more microbes that crave and eat sugar. You've got microbes that eat fats and proteins. You've got them all in there. But if you're gonna overdo it on sugar, you're gonna crave more sugar because that's what your microbes are gonna make you crave. And it also lowered our immune system. And that's a really important thing for you to understand going into the holidays. So when you start to eat a lot of sugar, your blood sugar will start to rise. And once it gets to 120 units or above, the white blood cells start to lose their ability to absorb and fight infections. Sugar lowers your immune system by 75% and sometimes even more. That's a pretty, well, they say it can be 85%, but I'm trying to be, conservative here. So in all of our white cells is a 50% concentration of vitamin C that is normally found in the blood around it. And it's super important for your immune system, and vitamin C, they work together to help your immune system. And the vitamin C is used by the white blood cells to engulf and absorb viruses and harmful bacteria. That's its job. So sugar or glucose has a very, very similar chemical structure to vitamin C. So when you eat sugar, your cells take in the sugar, thinking that it's vitamin C. And that 50% concentration of vitamin C drops. It drops dramatically. And your cells start to struggle to fight those pathogens. And then your immune system's ability to fight a virus is reduced by 75%. It can take 4 to 6 hours for that vitamin C concentration in your white blood cells to go back to the normal level and to be able to function again and to kill pathogens and viruses and germs. It's going to take a while for it to go back, as long as you don't keep eating sugar. So if you keep eating sugar over time, you're just constantly beating up your immune system because it loses its ability to take care of you. And our body has superpower strength to keep us well. And when you're eating sugar over and over again and crashing your immune system again and again, you're so susceptible to all kinds of germs and viruses, and that normally otherwise your immune system would just take care of. So here's another thing. Too much sugar or a high-stress lifestyle can create an environment that encourages the growth of disease-causing bacteria and especially Candida yeast. The reason being is that as your good microbes diminish in numbers, the Candida yeast takes up a very small portion in your body normally. But when those good microbes diminish, it starts taking over that area. It starts to move in. And it's interesting. Candida has got some important jobs that it does. It helps you digest things like heavy metals that your normal digestion system can't handle. But it was never meant to spread out and take over your body, which it does in many people, which is why people get so sick. And that's because they don't have enough good microbes crowding that yeast out. So if you're eating a diet that's high in sugar and processed foods, you're going to have, and especially sugar, you're going to have less room for good bacteria because it's going to diminish those numbers. Then Candida yeast is going to take over and take over the areas that normally would be occupied by your good microbes. And then you got a whole other slew of problems to deal with. So inside your body is a thriving ecosystem of microflora, and that's good bacteria, and it's good yeast too. There's all kinds of different types of flora in there that we normally think, okay, Candida is bad, let's get rid of it. Well, you don't really want to get rid of it completely. You just want little bits of it. You just want to control it. And as you do this, you stay healthy and strong because you have a balance in your body. The healthy bacteria and yeast are a type of fungi that help you digest food, absorb nutrients, regulate your blood sugar, manufacture vitamins and minerals. And it's a secret to helping them stay strong is to feed them with probiotic-rich foods, but more important, lots of prebiotic foods. And that can come in the form of fruits and vegetables and that have lots and lots of soluble fiber. So you can't really get any calories from soluble fiber. It's just kind of empty calories to you, but your microbes can. They eat it and they grow and multiply. So that's why fiber is so important to keeping you healthy. You remember there was a big fiber craze. It was a while back. It was 10 or 12, it was maybe even longer than that, where everybody's talking about fiber, fiber, fiber. It lowers your cholesterol. It helps with, any kind of bowel diseases. It keeps things regulated. Well, it's because the good microbes were eating it, and you were getting more microbes. They were growing and multiplying because the more fiber you ate, the more microbes you had, which helped fight viruses and pathogens, and it helps everything. It helps everything in your body. And that's one of the secrets to staying healthy is not just to eat probiotic foods, but to eat prebiotic foods too. And you can get them in other forms too. We have a product that we sell called Prebio Plus. And it's just something, you can even put this in your coffee if you want, because it's not affected by heat. But it's got inulin in it, or they call it FOS. And it is fantastic. It's made from chicory root, and it's got like 3 different types of prebiotics in it. And it's wonderful because it feeds your microflora. But it doesn't just feed your microflora if you eat it. It helps your cultures. Like if you make kefir and you have kefir grains just love this stuff. They grow and multiply and makes them grow faster, makes your kefir creamier, makes it healthier because it makes the good microbes grow and multiply like crazy. And that's an easy way to get some prebiotics into your life. If you ever try some of the teas that are out that are made with chicory root or barley root, those are all prebiotics, and they're very strong ones. And that's a wonderful way to get a prebiotics is to just drink it in tea. I think it's, I'm trying to think of the name of that. It's kind of like a coffee-like tea, but it's really just tea. And I have it on my site. If you go to my site at culturedfoodlife.com and you Google coffee, because coffee has good microbes in it too that feed your good bacteria. And I didn't know that, but that's a pretty impressive strain in there that also feeds your microbes. But there's also a coffee alternative that I'm trying to think of the name of that works really, really well. It's made out of barley and chicory root, and I think it's got some coconut in it. And I think you can get it on Amazon. I think I've got the product on my site. If you Google coffee, it'll come up. It's a great drink. It's a great prebiotic, and it really helped my daughter Macy when she had irritable bowel syndrome, and we were giving her probiotic foods for the first time, and she drank that tea a lot, and boy, what a difference that made, because she'd get the probiotics that had the strains in there, but then she'd drink the prebiotic tea, and it made them grow and multiply, and she got better really, really fast from that. I'll think of that name here in a second. I'm trying to remember what it is. But anyway, if you eat these types of foods, you won't crave sugar anymore because your microbes will shift, and they won't crave those types of sugary foods that you think that you want. Because as your microbes control your cravings, your whole taste buds change because they cause a lot of your cravings, most of your cravings. And as you eat these foods that are rich in probiotics and also prebiotics, and you cut back down on the sugar, you'll be so surprised that in 3 days you can change everything. I mean, in one meal you can start growing your microbes, but your cravings take a little longer to get rid of. But you can change your gut flora in just one meal. They'll start to grow and multiply. It's an amazing thing. There are foods like leeks and garlic. Even honey is a prebiotic. We've got all kinds of, broccoli, beans, nuts, seeds. There's, just about every fruit is a prebiotic. And I think that's why fruits and vegetables are so good for you, because they feed your microflora. And the more you eat those types of food, the more you crave those types of foods. And it's really pretty simple. It takes about 3 days and it changes it all for you. I have a lot of recipes that on my site at culturedfoodlife.com and in my books that not only will satisfy your sweet cravings, because I have desserts in there and they're probiotic, they're prebiotic, they're delicious. I just had a new ebook I put out for my Biotic Pro members. And if you're not a Biotic Pro, it might be something you want to consider. It's a membership I have on my site. We've got a forum. We give our members extra help. We have meal planners. We have lots of special recipes for them. We have, I think, 60 videos. We have a course and lessons and teaches you how to make kefir, kombucha, and cultured vegetables. And really just kind of step by step shows you what to do. And then if you need help, we're always there to help you. And it's a community of people that are really changing their life. And I made a special ebook this month, and it's got like 36 holiday recipes in it, just for members through the month of December. And I try to do that often, give my members extra recipes that help them that are in ebooks that they can just download. and they can just start changing their life because they can start changing what they eat. And it's right there in front of them. And guys, I don't do stuff that's hard because I don't have time. And so I make recipes that are pretty simple. All my books are that way too, because I wouldn't do this if it was hard. So I try to make it easy for you too. And when you make these recipes, you not only satisfy your sweet cravings, you also replenish your microbes. And then even if you do have sugar, you have so many busy microbes, it will help reduce the effect on this, what sugar normally does to the body, because you have so many microbes that can consume them for you that otherwise you wouldn't if you ate these foods, that it doesn't stress your immune system quite as badly. It's still not good for you. But if you're gonna have something sugary, which you probably are in this holidays, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but people are just gonna do that. That's what's happened. But if you do, just have a glass of kombucha with it. It'll help it. It'll help you so much. It'll help your liver, because your liver gets really stressed when you eat a lot of sugar, just like it does when you drink alcohol. And if you have some kombucha with it, you're going to greatly assist your body in being able to handle it. Or even a spoonful of cultured vegetables, or just the juice. Or have some kefir in one of the desserts that you make, or before you eat, or after. Probably before you eat would be best, or just be healthy on a general basis, and your body will be able to handle it. And you won't be addicted to the craving of sugar anymore. It takes a little bit of time to grow into this lifestyle, but honestly, guys, it's so worth it. And I'm happy to know. I want you to know that you can really not be addicted to it. And with all the pictures and videos of all the cool food, it's everywhere. Goodness. But there's other alternatives. There's great other recipes, and you can have some of this. Just make sure you have some cultured foods too, and you'll be good. I have one of my favorite things to do, especially, well, I do this all year long. I was going to say I do this during the holidays, but I do it all the time. But I have kefir for breakfast almost every day. It is the number one thing I do. It sets my day off. It balances my hormones and my blood sugar, and it's just what I do every day. It's easy. It's fast food. It's it's one of those things that you can do, and it just doesn't take very much time. There's 50 plus good bacteria in kefir, and this is a mighty force inside of you, and it has slowly changed the world inside of me, and it changed everything for me. And just doing it for breakfast is a no-brainer. It's just, you can throw something in a blender. One of my favorite things to do this time of year is to make a kefir breakfast pudding. And what I do is I put a cup of kefir, I think it's like a 3/4 of a cup of kefir in a jar, with 1/4 of a cup of oatmeal. I put some berries or some kind of fruit in it that my family likes or I like. I put a tablespoon of chia seeds in there, and then I shake it up and I set it in the jar in the fridge overnight, and the next morning it's done. It's ready. It's delicious. And I have carrot cake. I have all different kinds. I make a carrot cake one. I have an apple one. I have blueberries. I have strawberries. Some of these are in my book. I have a strawberry shortcake that I love, and I do it all the time. It's just easy. It's there. I have a blueberry one that I've been into lately, and I've been putting a little cardamom in it, the spice, and a teensy bit of, was it almond extract, I think, is what I put in there. The one this morning, I can't tell. I have little things that I do, and then I can't remember what I did. And I put it with blueberries and oatmeal. Put it in the fridge last night, and this morning, man, it was good this morning. And it's there. It's like in a jar waiting for you. You don't have to do anything. That's something I do all the time. I mean, I make a lot of things. We'll make kefir pancakes. We'll do kefir smoothies. I have a lot of Christmas smoothies in my ebook for Christmas. I think it's Cultured Christmas. And I had a peppermint chocolate one yesterday that was so good. That's one of my favorites too. And it actually tastes more like a milkshake than it does actually like a smoothie. And you guys, it's sugar-free. And you're getting billions of probiotics and prebiotics in it. So if you do overindulge in sugary treats, then here's what I suggest you do. Drink some kombucha. It really, really does work. It is one of the best things that I have found for, even if you have had alcohol, it helps your liver. It assists your liver in detoxifying you. And sugar is hard on your liver. And so is alcohol. So if you're going to do it, have some kombucha, because it makes all the difference, guys. And you'll be surprised how much it will help. Veggies, just a spoonful is a big deal. Cultured vegetables, huge. There's, oh my gosh, it's huge amounts of probiotics in there. And if you just want the juice, that's all you need. My daughter is getting ready to be in a play tonight, and she's in a musical, and she's one of the leads, and her throat's bothering her, and she panicked, and she's taking kombucha, and she's like, Mom, where are the cultured vegetables? And last night before bed, she's taken a spoonful of the cultured vegetable juice because her throat's bothering her. And every single person in the play is sick but her. And she's down in the cultured veggie juice and taking kombucha with her. And she's doing great because she knows how it works. She knows what happens. If you get that junk on the back of your throat because her throat was bothering her, kombucha just clears that off. It's terrific for sore throats. I highly recommend it. And it's exciting to me to see my 16-year-old daughter know that when she's in trouble, she doesn't reach for Advil. She doesn't reach for drugs. She reaches for these foods because she knows they work. And it's not because I'm telling her to, but she's desperate. And she says they're the only things that work. And it was interesting. I want to tell you, she was having a little bit of like sore throat and kind of like she was trying to get a cold like everybody had in her musical production. And it was really interesting. She was crying one morning because she felt so bad and she had a sinus headache, and she drank 16 ounces of kombucha. And when I think it was like an hour later, she said, Mom, the headache's gone, that all that stuff is gone, that I was pressure in my head. And there's some research, and I think it's in my book, Cultured Food for Health, that talks about how kombucha can work like Advil does. It works to relieve pain like aspirin. And I have seen that again and again in my own home, that if they drink enough of it, if they drink 8 to 16 ounces, it actually works like taking aspirin. It's an amazing thing. And she saw that, and it convinced her over and over again that that's her drug of choice, kombucha. It works for her, and it works for us too. If you have, all these foods work, and it's interesting, they kind of all work differently. So it's hard for me to just say this one's the best one or that one's the best, because they do different things because they're different strains of bacteria in each of them. And one of the things I love about cultured vegetables is they can protect you from food poisoning. And Chinese research actually confirmed that the special bacteria in cultured vegetables, which is Lactobacillus plantarum, was really beneficial for people who were exposed to things like heavy metals, and they prevented toxicity and poisoning. And in this study in the gut that they did in China, it helped to excrete these heavy metals because they measured it in the people's bodies. And it also reduced the inflammation and the intestinal permeability. It was an amazing research that showed that anytime you're ingesting something that isn't good for you, whether it's toxic metals or whether it's too much sugar, cultured vegetables are very, very, very effective in helping you to release those toxicities from your body. They also did some research in Missouri and found that it decreased anxiety and stress. And it worked on boosting the adrenals and strengthening the immune system due to the high vitamin C content. And that's something I always give Holly and my other kids, anytime they're having any kind of an allergy or something to hay fever or any kind of stress. There's so much vitamin C in cultured vegetables. For instance, when you take a cup of cabbage that's not cultured, it's about 70 milligrams of vitamin C, because there's some vitamin C in it. When you culture it, 700 milligrams of vitamin C in that same cup. That's pretty impressive. But I've seen it affect me physically. Like, okay, anytime you're sick, do me a favor, get some cultured vegetables, have some, and see if you don't feel better, because you're going to get a lot of vitamin C. So if you're eating a lot of sugar and you're dropping your immune system because your immune system's sucking in the sugar into your cells instead of vitamin C, have some cultured vegetables because they have so much vitamin C in them. You can counteract that. And I don't recommend it. I don't recommend you eat a lot of sugar and then have a lot of cultured vegetables. But if you do, I might as well give you something to help yourself, because it'll flood your body with vitamin C in a powerful way. And taking synthetic vitamin C in pill form isn't really good for the body. It's hard on the kidneys. So I don't recommend you doing that either, because it's just not how nature has it. It's not how it's made. If you need vitamin C, have it in some cultured vegetables, have some fruits and vegetables, lemons, oranges. Strawberries have a lot of vitamin C, and it'll counter that effect of what's happening to your immune system. It'll help raise it and help you to fight infections and keep you healthy. Anyone who is taking an antibiotic, they need these foods too, because a lot of them cannot be killed by antibiotics. Most of them, microbes in your gut do get killed by antibiotics, but there are a couple of strains. In kombucha, there's Lactobacillus boulardii. That is a probiotic yeast, and that cannot be killed by antibiotics. There's some research saying the Lactobacillus plantarum in cultured vegetables does not get killed by antibiotics. However, both of those bacteria that I just mentioned are transient bacteria, which means they don't last in the body very long. So you need to have them every few days because those strains will go away. And they're very powerful, and they're going to help you, and they're going to make a big difference. And I know this sounds like a bunch of, names of species of bacteria, but guys, it makes a huge difference when you can tap into the power of understanding what these microbes do and then use them in your life. You guys, it eliminates the drug use in your life for Advil and inflammation. You literally learn to use these foods to help reduce inflammation, to reduce headaches and sinus pressures and upset stomachs. They work like that on these different ailments because bacteria is always working on your behalf because you are mostly made of microbes. So I hope this will help you. Bottom line, if you're going to have some sugar, just make sure you have some of these foods. It'll make a big difference, guys. None of us are perfect. We all like to enjoy the holidays, and I hope you certainly do. Just make your body healthy, and then it can handle it. It's such a cool body to live in when you understand how it works, and when you can assist it, and you can help it, and you can work with it. Then you start to fall in love with your body, and you're appreciative of all the things that it does for you. I mean, we don't know that our bodies are fighting off pathogens all the time. I mean, there can be bacteria on a countertop that's very harmful, and your body will fight it off for you if it's strong and healthy. It's very cool. And I've seen that in my own life. I mean, I don't get afraid of flus and colds and things. I just don't. And my little girl, Holly, she's not little. She's 16 now, but she's in this big play, and every single person there is sick. And she's like, Mom, I can feel myself struggling to get it, but I'm not getting it. And she says, and I know how to help myself. And that's a tool that's going to last a lifetime for her. And I hope it's something that will last a lifetime for you. Because guys, when you're healthy, you make such a difference in your environment and in the world around you. Because you help other people, even with your own bacteria. Walking into a room, you take it with you wherever you go, and you spread it to people. And when you're healthy and when you're happy and when you feel good, you care about others. You really do. And I found that with these foods, that when I started to feel better, I cared about my neighbor. I cared about the birds outside. I did. I started to open up my heart because I felt good and I was happy. And I wound up, now I got a whole website and an author. That's just crazy to me. I never wanted to do any of this stuff. But being sick was like the greatest gift I ever got. Got really sick, and then I got better. And I was so shocked at the answers and how they came to me that all I wanted to do was help everybody else find it too. Don't live your life feeling bad. You guys just don't know what you're missing. Your body's cool. It's the coolest thing ever. And it will help you. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you love your family and enjoy your family. I do hope you have some probiotic foods because they'll help you. But if you don't, come back in January. I'll help you some more. I'm here for you because it's made all the difference for me. And it's my little contribution to society that I hope I can help make people healthy, happy, and strong, because life is a wonderful journey, and I appreciate you. Have a wonderful holiday season.